Hi. Good evening, everyone. Wow, this is very shiny. Thank you for having me today. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Khoo. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company called iStore, iSend. As you can wonder, right? iStore, iSend does what it says, store and send. So I started this company with my best friend, childhood friend, long time ago. But today we're not going to talk about me, but I'm trying to talk about e-commerce logistics. But before I talk about e-commerce logistics, right, I want to bring you back in time. Just now, it's rightly pointed out the four horsemen of logistics. But before e-commerce was really popular, right, I remember very vividly the day I told my mom that sent me to all the higher education that I'm going to get involved in logistics. This was probably going through her mind. It's like, I didn't send you all this higher education, spend all this time for you to go into logistics. Because in her mind, logistics was synonymous with dirty, unskilled labor, blue collar, no future, not going to get paid high, probably not going to get married, right? So, no future lah. So I got an earful from her and my parents and say, hey, trying to persuade me not to do it. But obviously I was very intrigued because of e-commerce and how it has, and it will be changing the logistics industry. Today I'm happy to say that my mom is shopping online because of COVID, right? So she actually uses Shopee and all this food, Grab food, and sometimes she just shout at me and say, hey, son, Grab food for me. And then she would think that, wow, magically, the food will come and the thing I buy tomorrow will arrive. But I think what she underappreciates is how it came to the point where things are magically appearing. It actually takes a lot of effort and a lot of people, and it's quite complicated to achieve what you guys and the consumer want today. In fact, next day delivery, 24-hour delivery is no longer enough. People are now asking for next hour delivery. And in fact, if they can, they want instant delivery. When they check out, bam, magic. We're trying to work there, but give us some time. I'm sure the logistics industry will come up with something in the next decade or two, right? So let's talk about. Oh, okay, never mind. There was one slide that was missing. But anyway, that slide I actually wanted to talk about why logistics is so interesting. If you look at it today, right, business transformation leads to logistics transformation. We're talking about e-commerce nowadays. Consumer has changed, and that's why it has led to a logistical change. If you look at the traditional warehousing on the far left, it was a traditional warehouse built for B2B business because you were shopping offline. You were shopping from the store, and then you will have to send stuff in cartons. But today you're buying single items. You'll be buying a pen, you'll be buying this and that. So that's why that mode has changed, how the warehouse works, how the logistics work. So the future of e-com and the future of the warehousing and logistics, I think it's going to be a lot more modern than a lot of people think. I think I will challenge my mom. I'll tell her, dude, actually e-commerce has changed logistics, and logistics is very high tech. It's very promising, and it's something that's really looking forward to. So let's talk about modern day logistics. Modern day logistics is actually very high tech. But what are we trying to apply technology to? If you look at logistics, right, at the heart of it, there's two fundamentals that doesn't change over time. Talking about traditional, modern, future. It's still talking about human and space. It's our attempt to make these two elements work better, right? So through technology, obviously, things are getting better. So that's why you look at it, that there's these four graphs, right? Four pictures that I wanted to show to kind of illustrate how technology is being applied in logistics. On the far left, you can see like a bunch of maze, something similar to a puzzle maze. If you ever played puzzle maze when you're a kid, the objective is trying to get out of the maze in the fastest way possible without getting stuck. So actually that's easy lah. As kids, we know how to do it. But to make it even more difficult, imagine the puzzle changes every second. Every time it changes. So then, human obviously can't make good decision and suggestion and solution when it's changing so fast. And that's why we have technology. So what you see here is actually what they call route optimization. So we're optimizing route for the delivery guy. So like when we talk about the Abang Grab food, you can notice that actually they're getting faster and faster. Sometimes you press 5 minutes they come ready because of route optimization. They know at any one point where the nearest rider is, what is the best route that he can drive to get you your stuff the fastest. And you look at the right. So that's our attempt to help humans be better in their routes. On the right, how do we optimize space? This one looks a bit like Tetris. I'm sure you guys have played Tetris, I hope. I hope it's not an outdated game. So, just to give a confession, I'm actually a pretty hardcore gamer back in the days. Right? And then my mom would say that because you didn't study well, that's why in logistics, you know. But anyway, I love to play games, I like to solve problems. And that's why I find this picture very interesting. It's like Tetris. So Tetris is what? You're trying to build blocks on top of each other without having a gap. And things are just falling quickly. So these are the same thing that's happening in the logistics space. The warehouse has limited space, but things are coming in and going out at a fast pace. How do you make sure that the item that needs to be stacked together in the most efficient manner, that's space manipulation or optimization? So actually, again, because things change so fast, if you depend on one guy to kind of figure out the strategy, it's not going to be the best solution. And that's why technology has been used here. And you can see on top, it can be applied on loading a container or loading a truck. Because let's face it, the truck's not going to immediately grow if you want it to, right? It's just this big. So we have obviously I've shared how logistics is high tech and not low tech. How technology plays a part in logistics. But I also want to kind of share a bit about the disruption of COVID-19 that we are living in today. Today I'm standing here talking to you guys, and most often than not I hear this term, we live in a post-COVID world. So COVID is such an important milestone in human history that it has become a timeline. There's pre-COVID and post-COVID. Why? I think few people understand the disruption that it has caused to businesses. And I want to take one example that's, I think, one of the most extreme one. And also most relevant. So there was this company called Big Bad Wolf, right? They're one of the largest book distributors in Southeast Asia. So if you know their business, they're actually they conduct 24/7 exhibition sales. And then it's like your books are 90% off, 70% off. And you see hundreds of people queuing up all through the night to go into this exhibition. And everyone have like one whole, because it's so cheap, right? Everyone just buy so much and go back home. So this was a pretty successful model, honestly. It was pioneer in this model, and I myself spent a lot of time in these book fairs. But what happened during COVID? Imagine today, 99% of your business was based on this model. You are employing hundreds of people, hundreds of families depending on this job, serving this business. Immediately within months, weeks in fact, you can't do this anymore. What happens? Most people will panic. Most people will panic and probably go into a depression. But luckily enough, two owners of this business that we were friends with, Jacqueline and Andrew, came calling and saying, hey, I think the first thing I need to do is get all this business online. I can sell books online. I said, yeah, sure. Set up a Shopify website. Done. So they did just that. They set up a Shopify website, start selling books. Things were great. It picked up. They were selling maybe 10 books a day. Immediately they were selling 100 books a day. But then they were selling 200 books a day. But they were not able to fulfill the 200. Why? Because the logistics was not set up to do just that. I remember the day I went into their warehouse after a month that they launched their website. They actually have back orders for a month. Meaning people have actually bought the book and never got the book for more than a month. Can you believe that? In this day and age. And that's because of the logistics setup. So they called us and said, hey Joe and Tommy, what can you do? I said, dude, it's super difficult, but because I know that this is so important, and honestly I feel personally invested in the brand because I shop so much of my children's book from them. I said, hey, let's try to make this happen. So the target that we set upon ourselves and our team was to make this the whole warehouse. And I was talking to the student today, he was asking me, hey, is it real, the story? I said, yeah. And I said, hey, so how difficult it is? Millions of books, right? Millions of books, from the sound of it is very simple, but I give you a visual representation. The warehouse is about 2.5 football field big, 2 stories. 2.5 football field, 2 stories of books. And you have to move all these books, reorganize them into a way that is most efficient for online purchase. And that's what how difficult it is. We did it in 60 days, and thank God we did it, and we're happy to share that in 2020, 11/11, which is one of the biggest e-commerce day, their warehouse miraculously processed 150,000 books in one day. And that's something I'm really proud of with my team, that we were able to play a part in that. And that, again, why I bring this story is that disruption can happen really quick. And logistics is one of the key pillars to help a business scale in an e-commerce environment. So COVID-19 obviously has changed a lot for businesses. And just now I've shared my client's business. But now the question is, how has COVID-19 changed my business? So logistics has changed all the time because things change. What COVID-19 has done has accelerated that change. Today, I don't think we can hear about any businesses who are not thinking about e-commerce or an online channel. Everyone has an angle. But because of that, the demand for the e-commerce logistics has blown. I think at the height of it during 2020, I'm sure you guys have logged into Facebook and saw some news and pictures of all these parcels lying in the warehouse of Post Laju and all that, and people complaining they're never getting their stuff. And it's true, because demand grew by 10 times. But what do you expect the logistics guy to magically create warehouses and trucks overnight? Doesn't happen that way. So it took time for the logistics industry and accelerated everyone's investment. And said, hey, we need more trucks, we need more warehouse, we need more technology to make this work, because it's not going to happen overnight, and we need to be better prepared for the next thing that happens. And that's what happened for us. We launched one of the biggest agnostic e-commerce fulfillment center in Malaysia. So we launched it this year after much delay because of COVID. But I think we're now more prepared for the future. The million-dollar question: what will the industry look like in the future? I think it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same in the sense that there will be constant change. There will be constant change, driven by change in consumer behaviors. New business model and new business channels will come. Today we talk about e-commerce, talking about our own website, talking about Shopee and Lazada. But I'm sure you guys, young people, you guys know that social media is the rage right now. In fact, social commerce is just around the corner and it's blowing up. So I for sure think that social commerce will play a big part in changing logistics. The next thing we talk about is more interconnectedness. There will be more technology in the warehouse because the challenges that we are facing cannot be solved by human alone. And that's why I envision the future of logistics with more robots, more automation. And ultimately, there won't be any difference between e-commerce and commerce. Today we're talking about e-commerce as though it's a separate part of business. Well, my business, I have two. E-commerce, normal commerce. Because there's this segregation. And then, of course, people say, hey, Joe, you're in e-logistics, and I'm in normal logistics. As though that, we're doing two different things. But ultimately, I think in the future, it will be just commerce and just logistics. Because the E is part of life. So before I end, I'd like to talk about Malaysia and its role in logistics. So Me and my partner started in Malaysia, and we have dear thoughts now, patriotic citizen of Malaysia. Actually, Malaysia got a lot of things going for it, especially in logistics. Because look at the two elements of logistics, human and space. Malaysia has the most cost-effective, multilingual, multicultural, talented workforce in Southeast Asia. And when I say cost-effective, you know Malaysian ringgit is not that high, ma. So it's actually a good place to start a logistics company. Space, wow, Malaysia is so big. Look at Singapore, so small. So we have ample space, and we are right smack in the center of Southeast Asia. How can we not be, how can we not build one of the best logistics company in Southeast Asia here? Why can't Malaysia be the number one in logistics in Southeast Asia? I think that's an opportunity, and I just want to get a show of hands if there's any students that are studying or looking to join the logistics industry. Just as others are two. Yes, thank you for support. Now we got one. Back in the days, probably zero, because all your parents want you to be engineers, lawyers, doctors. Hopefully after this, I'm able to attract more people into logistics space, because it's not dirty and manual. It's high tech. It's important. It's the future. So human space, come back to Malaysia, right? But obviously we have all the ingredients to build a great logistics industry. But there's always challenges. The challenges that we face today is global inflation. I'm sure everyone know and feel it. Like your teh tarik is becoming more and more expensive. Your general meal that used to cost less than $10 is now more than $10. And sometimes even 20, which is scary. So inflation has driven up costs all around, including human capital costs, your wages, right? So how can we counter this? The only way to counter this and still remain as cost effective is to upskill, right? We can ask for more wages, but our output is not more because we become more skilled. So that's why investment in upskilling our workforce is very important. And that's why we're also investing in technology. Today, Malaysia faces another big problem, which is talent outflow. Like I mentioned, Malaysian ringgit is not the best. US dollar seems to be so attractive. In fact, just around the corner, Sing dollars 3-1, going up. So it makes sense that a lot of our talents are looking for success and their career outside of Malaysia. But I implore those talents to think and look into Malaysia companies that are doing changes as well, right? How can we retain these talents? Unfortunately, there's no easy answer. The country, the government has to play a role. Private enterprises have to play a role. We need to invest more into technology and attract all these talent to stay. I would like to end with my own personal story. So, yeah, that is me and my childhood friend. We've known each other for more than 20 years, just by the way, since primary school. So what I wanted to share in this is because you look at both of us, we have no business in logistics. One is a business, I'm an econ management major, he's a chemical engineer. None of us have zero background in logistics, no experience, zero. We didn't know what was logistics when we started this business. But of course, over the years we learned. But that was also our reason that we were able to succeed. Because we had no prior baggage and we had no fear. Why is no fear such an important thing? Obviously, I didn't know how hard this is going to be. Me and Tommy talked about it. We knew it was going to be hard. But I think what turns out is it's about 10 times or 100 times more hard than we thought it could be. But why I wanted to share, because the audience, there's a lot of students. And as students, I think back my time as students. In fact, my time when my mother told me not to come to the logistics industry. There will be a lot of naysayers. There will be a lot of people who say, you're not qualified, you can't do this, you have no experience, you don't know what you're talking about, don't dream. In Chinese, don't fa bai mo, right? But it's because of these dreams that drive, things to success. And because we have no fear, and I'm a living proof of that, no idea about logistics, we were able to succeed. We will learn along the way. As long as we have the perseverance and the tenacity and the passion, right? The passion. The passion is very important. I love logistics, promoting logistics here. Logistics is very interesting. It's high tech. And because the love that we have developed for logistics over the years when we are in this business, that kept us going for more than 10 years. We could have given up any time. It was so difficult. You can ask our friends. So many times we were near, failure. But we kept going. And the thing that kept us going was the love and passion for the industry. So that, I think, is the key success of anyone who wants to chase their dream. Chase their dream with tenacity, with passion. And with that, I end my sharing. Thank you.